All right. Well, I want to officially welcome you all to the Huntsville Area Association of Realtors Multiple Listing Service Caravan. For those of you all who may be here for the first time, let me give you just a little history of Caravan. Caravan was initiated over 40 years ago as a tool for the agents to bring their properties to the attention of their fellow realtors. We were always looking for a way to be sure that we were able to present our properties in such a way that the consumer benefited and the other realtors benefited from the knowledge that the properties are here. Huntsville Area Association of Realtors was very forward thinking and saying very nicely, let's create a tool to where we can have a presentation venue for properties, and the realtors would present properties they wanted the other realtors to see on a tour weekly. And in so doing, we have fostered a program over the last 40 years that has become an integral tool, in the Huntsville Area Association of Realtors cadre of tools for you to use as an awareness level building tool. Also has fostered several side benefits. We have you create life friendships and associations and networking capability by coming to the Caravan on Friday, which is absolutely wonderful. Our purpose here is to try to learn the properties that are out there in the marketplace on a weekly basis and to gain the knowledge of what those properties bring to the table for our consumers and in the industry around. We have what's called the MLS Caravan Home of the Week designation. MLS Home of the Week is a designation that is earned from a voting process that we will go through shortly, and I want to be sure that we cover all of the voting criteria that is out there. And on the front page of your sheet, we do have the 5 categories that we do rank properties in with regards to how their presentation quality is. The price of the property, the exterior presentation, the interior presentation, the condition, and the saleability. We have a numeric scoring system that really helps us judge which properties are the best, 1 being a least favorable score and a 5 being the best in each category. And a 3 is an average across the board. So every week as we go into the properties, we want to be sure that we're trying to score them in an appropriate way that gives our opinion about what we think about that property. If you score something above a 3 in a category, it means that you think that house excels in that category. If you score something less than a 3, you think that property is deficient in one or more things with regard to presentation. Let's talk about the 5 categories real quick. And I want you to know that we are comparing the properties against their contemporaries in the marketplace. We're not comparing properties against other properties on the Caravan itself. We are trying to make sure that we are giving a good judgment call as real estate professionals about how this property would compete against its other contemporaries in the marketplace that a consumer could choose to see or a realtor could choose to show. So let's discuss the 5 categories. Price. As we go to the property, we need to judge how is that property priced against its contemporaries in the marketplace. Is it average? Is it better? Is it priced better than its competition for what it is? Or is it exceeding what we think that the market will permit at this point in time? Once again, a 1 to 5 scoring. 3 is an average. If it's priced very, very well, you would probably say it exceeds from a 3 to a 4 or a 5. If it's priced, you think, aggressively, then basically you would probably say it does not reach an average. It may be something less than an average. Exterior presentation. When we pull up to the property, does it have the wow factor? Does the house have good presentation quality from the street? Is the yard in good order? Is the house show good, design elements to it? Does it have the wow factor? Does it really have the appeal factor that we are looking for that particular product, whatever it may be? Interior. I like to say fit, finish, and flow. Fit, finish, and flow. Does the property have the livability that people are looking for? Does it have the finishes that people are looking for? When you go into a property today, and you have certain expectations. Let's give you an example. If you're in a $250,000 or $300,000 home and you walk in and you see Formica countertops, what is your initial impression? Possibly doesn't meet the expectation level of the consumer and the realtors against its competition. If the competition has certain standard features and your property doesn't, then we're probably not meeting expectation. If you go in and it has something that is above expectation, that's great. Once again, on a 1 to 5 scale, does it meet expectation or does it have good finishes? Does it have good flow, livability against its competition, etc.? Condition. I always like to say this is where HGTV has played such an important role in our lives in the last 5 or 6 years. HGTV has retaught the consumer how to shop and what to look for. And I use that line in that script whenever I go into a listing appointment, because I really bless HGTV. It does all my work for me. It used to be years ago we would have to give them a video of how to dress your home for success or how to stage your home or whatever. There were several wonderful videos out there. All they have to do is get popcorn and a Diet Coke and sit in front of TV for 3 hours. And they've learned everything they need to know about presentation quality, which is the way it is. But unfortunately, that means that the consumer that we represent, the seller, must honor that. And they really must put their property in the presentation quality that the consumer expects, and we as realtors are now looking for to present to our consumer. So does the home that we're going into today meet those expectations or not? That's very, very important. And overall saleability, the last category. Is that property sellable in the market today against its contemporaries? It's very, very, very important. You know, we're trying to help the agent that's representing the subject property and the consumer that owns that property understand how they will be received in this marketplace. If there's an issue, this is where we will deal with, having commentary on that and helping the agent understand and the consumer understand how they may better position that property in the marketplace. Are there any questions on the 5 categories? How to rank? Good. Okay. When we have the voting today, each car going out will have a tally sheet in their car. And the tally sheet will have spaces for everybody's initials and voting blocks, for the numeric numbers to be assigned. You do not get to vote on your own house. So you put an X in the box, please, of your own house. We don't care what you think of your house. We want you to know what we think of your house, okay? This tool has been used by me so successfully in the last few years to take the commentary back to my consumer and let them know very nicely, this is not only what, I've been giving you advice, this is the collective wisdom of a very good group of real estate professionals that have viewed our property and have said very nicely, their initial impression is this. And that's very, very important, because that's all we get is an initial impression opportunity. We don't get anything else. We very rarely get a second chance to have a good first impression. It just doesn't happen. So the reality is, the wisdom you bring back to the table here and share with the representative of each individual property is so important. And this is where you can take the information back and basically use it to your best advantage. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is my first time here, but I'm kind of confused as to why there's almost 2,500 members and there's only us here for CARAVAN.
Well, that's something we'd like to change. Okay. We have CARAVAN 40 years ago, and 30 years ago, and 25 years ago was one of the most attended Friday functions in this board. We would have 30 and 40 and 50 people on a Friday. And it really was a caravan of cars. It was a caravan where we would have, 10 cars, out. And it got a little cumbersome, actually. You get 10 cars full of people trying to go from point A to point B. It's not easy. But in reality, it has diminished because people's lives got busy. And people, they focus on other things, and we're not getting the actual encouragement by the brokers for participation. And, right now, everybody in the New World Order, guys, thinks the computer does everything. You can sit in front of a computer screen and learn the world. It's not the same as being in the streets and having a tactile introduction to a property, going out and seeing it, touching it, smelling it. Because how many times have you walked into a house and we've had dog odor? That doesn't come across the computer screen well, whatever. Cooking odors, especially if you're of a different culture and you have very strong spice smells in the house. In that culture, it's normal. In our culture, it possibly isn't. So a recommendation to that owner saying, for the purposes of marketing your property in this marketplace, in this predominant culture, it would be recommended that we, refrain from doing X, Y, or Z, for a window of time. It doesn't also show you that in a computer screen, if you go out and there's a pig farm next door, And the reality is you have beautiful shots of a yard and beautiful shots of an exterior, and you don't see the car on blocks in the driveway next door or the yard that's 3 feet deep or whatever. You just don't see that. This is your learning tool. This is your way to get out and learn the inventory. It's also ways to learn the city geographically that you may not have been introduced to. We have, in years past, agents where you work the market universally. There's several really fine agents in this room right now that I have had the privilege over the years of working with them when they've had a listing in the far reaches of Tony or Harvest or Newmarket or Lacey Spring, way out in the everywhere, or all over the geographic areas of the city of Huntsville or Madison, whatever. Today, we see agents specializing more in certain geographic areas, and they don't really understand other parts of the market that we serve. And in that case, the tour is wonderful for you to be able to say, you know, I'm going to pick one of the tours that goes geographically to an area that I may not have strength in. And if so, then you're able now to learn that area better and to understand if you get the opportunity to serve in that community or that area, you'll now have a base understanding of what the product is and then, you know, some valuations. If you're new on the Caravan and you don't understand, you know, the valuations of a property or a neighborhood or the character or anything about it, this is your opportunity as a new agent to interact with the people that you'll be in a car with. And I encourage you to do that, please. We want you to ask questions. We want you to ask for opinions. It's the collective wisdom of this body that will mean your future success, because we really do depend on each other's wisdom to understand where is the market going at any given time. Is the market advancing forward? Is the market retreating? What is happening in the market that's creating value, or what is happening in the market that's holding value back at this point in time? So this is the tool that you as a new agent should be here every Friday, no matter which direction the Caravan is going, so that you do learn the market. Okay?
So how do we get that theory out there to the rest of the masses?
Well, we're working on that.
Okay.
We have a plan, and we're going to implement the plan, aren't we?
We are.
We are. It's going to be great. We're excited about Caravan. Caravan has always been one of the, and I fought very hard for years, sometimes I think single-handedly, to keep this institution going, and but not really. This is a very valued institution to this board. It is still the best learning tool for inventory in the marketplace and learning what our composite market is about. It's also one of the best tools to really make friends in this industry and network, because I will be working with each one of you all at some point, and we will have the comradeship of being on Caravan and sharing stories and jokes and troubles and issues and whatever with each other. It's like hopefully being a more cooperative House of Representatives working across the aisle for the benefit of everybody in mankind. Okay? So that's what we try to do. Okay. All right. Before we leave on our Caravan tour, we will be having an opportunity for each agent to give a little infomercial about the property they're representing. This is very important. Please make the infomercial worthwhile for everybody while they're sitting here. We know it's got 4 walls. We know it's got a roof. We know it's got a kitchen. We know it's got probably at least 1 bathroom or whatever. What I'd like you to do is be able to, tell something about the property you feel is specific or indigenous to that property that's important for us to recognize when we get there. So we will be able to say, oh yes, I see the benefit that this property brings, or we see the issue. If there's an issue you have about a property, I need everybody to give special attention, please, to the paint, to the condition of the carpet, to the, but I would like people to come back, very specifically focused on helping me, give recommendations to my client, in a specific way. That is how we want this tool to be used to your advantage. So we will do an infomercial before we leave. Okay, we'll break into cars. Everybody kind of, gather up and let's get into cars together and ride together. And then when we finish the Caravan and come back, while the scores are being tallied by the team leader, and today Charlie Mack is going to be our team leader, out on tour. The reality is, while the scores are being tallied, we will do a little postmortem so that you can discuss the properties individually and give your commentary about the properties. And once again, if you score a property an average, that's fine. Still be able to speak to why it's average, why it's not distinctive. Average is okay, but if there's something that you think can be done that makes that property better than average, then in a way that's cost effective or a way that's significant, as such, let that representative know. If you feel like that, something is already superior, let them understand, I recognize the fact that you've got a really good price on that property, or that brand new carpet or that granite or that whatever really is a better situation than its competition. More importantly, if it's deficient in something, if it's deficient under a 3 in any category, please be able to articulate why, in your professional opinion, the property does not measure up. That is the most important thing that I think that we can gain from this. This is where the articulation of what the deficiency is so important for us as representatives to be able to go back. We now know that it's not just my voice, and they've heard my voice. They've heard me say time and time again, the price needs to go down, the price needs to go down, the price needs to go down. An outside voice coming, all of a sudden, that has meaning. Dina took over a listing that I had, that my articulation to the owner for 6 months was, the market is not accepting our price. The market is dictating to us that we need to reposition this. The market is saying very nicely, I appreciate what you are, but. Dina walked in with a different voice, or same message, but it reinforced that, and was able to get the price reduction that is going to be needed to get that property sold, and it probably sold first day it was on the market. Have you got it sold yet? All right. Anyway, it makes me feel better. Day 3 then. Okay.
It's on the paperwork yet. So
all right. Good working on that. But once again, this is the tool that the MLS Caravan is all about. It is for your benefit to learn the market, to understand the inventory that's there, to network, to make friends in this industry, and understand that to be a lifelong realtor with a career of success, you have to be able to understand what this inventory is all about. You have to be able to articulate to a consumer and another realtor the benefits of your property over the competition. And if you don't know what the competition is, you won't be able to do that. Okay? So with all that being said, we need to get on to the prospects of introducing our properties to each other and getting in our cars and breaking up and going from there. So I'm going to turn it over to Charlie Mack, and we're going to see if y'all have a great day out on tour. Okay?